Good morning. Good morning. We are here with Veterans Views, coming to you live from beautiful Hammond, Indiana, from the bunker at WJOB. We want to welcome all our veterans, all our active duty, and any citizen soldiers. So with me is Steve Bramer. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
And Robert Rockwell.
Hey, here we are.
All right. So we want to start off today. We want to talk a little bit about the two things that the White House did, which I think are great. One of the things was they made marijuana a Class 3 drug now.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Marijuana?
I doubt it'll ever be legal in this state, but now that means that laboratories and states and that want to can start doing trials to see if see what the drug can actually do, which a lot of us already know what the drug can do. It helps with PTSD. A lot of veterans take it that live in states that it is legal.
For medicinal purposes.
Exactly.
This is what, okay.
Yeah. Of course, I'm sure there's some in this state that either go up to Michigan or over to Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, any state that surrounds us.
I bet an enormous amount of people go.
Yeah.
So, Steve, do you know what, putting it at Category 3, what does that mean?
So it's at the same level as Vicodin,
Okay.
and was it Vicodin and something?
Yeah, something else.
So does that mean that any state can now prescribe or a legal prescription?
Yeah.
It still has to be legal in your state.
Has to be legal in the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
But
why I
it
said
can now you can use it for medicine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you get a prescription from your doctor, and then you go to one of the stores with the prescription, kind of like a pharmacy, and get it.
Yeah.
But regular people cannot go and buy some.
Yeah.
In some of these states.
I wonder if that'll trickle into active duty standards where obviously if you're prescribed, even if you're prescribed now currently, you can still pop hot for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it stays in your system a while.
It's interesting though.
Yeah.
But if it's a federal, because that's the whole debate with the military currently.
They still didn't make it legal federally.
But medicinally.
Yes. Yeah.
But they authorize it to where it can be legal in your individual state medicinally.
It's been that way for a long time, though.
But so then what is the difference in this class?
What the difference is that pharmaceutical companies, laboratories, scientists, they can experiment with it and make medicine out of it.
Oh, in anywhere federally?
Yeah.
Then. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, like I said, I don't think they'll make it legal in this state because Eli Lilly owns Indianapolis. So.
Well, maybe Eli Lilly needs to grow a farm.
You know, it's crazy because you're right. Illinois has had it legal for years.
Yeah,
right?
so has Michigan.
But if you would have popped hot in the Illinois National Guard, you would have gotten in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But even medicinally, there's more states that have medicinally authorized than there is recreational use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you would think if it's prescribed to you by a medical doctor, then why can't I use it, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you still pop out.
That's going to be the argument in the future.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the same thing where soldiers could get in trouble for popping hot. But then they're going to be able to argue then, well, you guys legalize it medicinally. So I could see that fight coming in the future.
I heard there might be some police officers out there that are listening, 219-845-1100. I heard there was a test that they could do on the spot now to make sure that you're not driving stoned.
Oh, I don't know. That's interesting.
And it's not like a blood test or a urinalysis. It's like I think it's saliva swab or something. They can tell if you're high.
That's
wow.
And it's not just in your system, right? Because you could have smoked pot yesterday and be in your system.
Right.
But you're high now, driving under the influence.
Oh, well, you shouldn't be doing that.
Your reaction time is dangerous.
Right.
People, it shouldn't be driving stoned.
Right. Shouldn't be driving drunk.
Right. Not that those two are, obviously drunk is way worse.
Right.
But your reaction time it
still
gets
impaired.
slower.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
I didn't know that. So they could tell?
That's what I've heard. I'd love a police officer to call in and talk about it. Maybe one of these.
Hey, we do have a caller.
That's scary. That's not scary.
Go ahead, caller. You're on WJB.
Hey, good morning, G.I. Joe, G.I. Jane, and citizen soldiers.
Hey, Ernie, how are you doing?
Good. I did not inhale. See, I tried that stuff one time, but I didn't inhale. So, but it didn't. I was about 15 years old, and I
Oh.
haven't stopped yet. I'm 80.
There you go.
Anyway, on a serious note, I just called in to extend our condolences from American Legion and Victory Post 168, our membership, to Ricky C's family. As you know, he passed away, and he was a longtime friend of Veterans Views radio show, a longtime caller. And the one thing that
Sounds familiar.
Ricky C from Post 232,
In Hessville.
What?
and the Hessville Post. Yeah, he passed away last week, but I would say a couple things and then let you get on with your show. But he's the gentleman Air Force guy that would always call in and say, "This is Ricky C from beautiful downtown
Wow.
Hessville, Indiana."
Right.
Yeah, very
And
familiar.
Post 232 chaplain and past commander, too, I think. But our condolences go out to him, and I went to the wake and represented the Post. There was a lot of people there yesterday, and I did want to make a little announcement. That's why I called you early this morning at 10 a.m. this morning at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church. It's at 7140 Arizona in Hammond. They're having a mass for him this morning. So he's going to truly be missed, and he was always active in our military programs. But I want to, again, just extend our condolences. And I think 232
Absolutely.
might be having a program this afternoon. Somebody can check and see for the veterans who knew him and his family members. But they do a great job at 232. He was a longtime member of that Legion. But if there's no other questions, I'll let you get going back to your subject about medical marijuana.
Yeah. See, condolences out to Ricky C
absolutely.
and his family
Yeah.
and the Hessville Post 232.
I loved him. He was always so
A
positive.
lot of energy.
Yeah.
A lot of energy
Yeah.
called in. And
Absolutely, yeah. He was
Give
He
me
great.
was
updates.
young.
He didn't see him on the radio. Didn't see him. Well, I never met him face to face.
50s, I think. 50s.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 60s, but I don't think so.
I'll let you guys go and talk about him, and have a good show, and you're doing a great job.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ernie.
All right, thank you.
Oh, that's a loss.
Yeah, that's a
I
shame.
I had wondered last couple of months why he hadn't been calling in. I don't know if he was sick or something, but that's terrible.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Huge loss for Hessville. Huge loss for American Legion and the city of Hammond.
Yeah.
And all of his loved ones. Send our condolences out there from Veterans Views and
Absolutely.
our respects to a good man and a good military veteran. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So back to this.
Yeah, there's another thing that the White House did. Over the weekend, our president signed an executive order that directs federal agencies to reduce the administrative barriers to research and potential approval of medical treatment using psychedelic drugs for patients with serious mental health conditions. So this will direct the commissioner of the Food and Drug Commission to that they can do therapy designations, the DEA, and it directs the DEA and the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, to establish a pathway for patients to access psychedelic assisted therapy, using under the Right to Try Act. It allocates at least $50 million from existing funds to support and partner with state governments that have enacted or are developing programs using psychedelic assisted therapy. Creates collaboration pathways between the Department of Health and Human Services, the Food and Drug Administration, the VA, and private researchers to increase clinical trial participation, data sharing, and research on psychedelic drugs. It directs the Attorney General to initiate a review of any protocol containing a Schedule I substance that has successfully completed Phase 3 clinical and serious medical trials. So basically, the two drugs they're talking about, and I'll probably mess up these names, it's this one,
psilocybin.
Yeah, and ibogaine. They've both shown promise in clinical research for some patients who have not responded to normal patients. The VA, in a Health Innovations Act, establishes a pathway for states to fund clinical trials using ibogaine as an investigational new drug. And also, what this does is it cuts the red tape in the process. It dramatically accelerate research for these promising new options. So I did a little research on these two drugs. Psilocybin, I can't pronounce it.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The P is silent.
Yeah. Okay. What do I know?
Marines.
Yeah, you know. Hey, if it ain't written in crayon, I get confused,
You
okay?
guys are so cute.
This drug is, it's found in more than 200 species of mushrooms. It has hallucinogenic effects.
Figure. I hate to say it. Go figure, it's a mushroom.
Right?
Well, yeah, that's psilocybin's the main psychedelic, and
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
magic
okay.
mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
So its effects include euphoria, changes in perception, a distorted sense of time, and perceived spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
It's chemically related to the neurotransmitter serotonin and acts as a non-selective agonist of the serotonin receptors.
The antagonist.
Well, this says agonist.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and
okay.
Wikipedia is never wrong. Psilocybin mushrooms were used ritualistically in pre-Columbia, Mexico. So a lot of the things against these mushrooms kind of fall in the same thing as marijuana. When marijuana was, they needed something to fight against, and when they did Reefer Madness movie. If you've never seen that, it's an very old movie.
No,
but
I've never
there's
seen
so much misinformation in that, it's not even funny.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what started everybody when they made pot illegal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, possession of psilocybin-containing mushrooms has been outlawed in most countries, and it's been scheduled as a Class 1 controlled substance under the 1971 United Nations Convention on Psychotropic Substances. So what they're studying with this one, with psilocybin, is it's being studied as a possible medicine in the treatment of psychiatric disorders, such as major depressive disorder, substance use disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, and even other conditions like cluster headaches. Where have I heard that before? Mm-hmm. It was approved in Australia in 2023 for treatment in treatment-resistant depression, and in its late-stage clinical trials in the U.S. for major depressive disorder and treatment-resistant depression. So a decision on this drug is expected by the end of this year.
Wow. Yeah, I know Indiana actually passed a bill within the last couple of years, because we talked about this on this show, for them to start researching the effects on veterans and PTSD with magic mushrooms, psilocybin. It's actually legal for recreational use in Oregon. Like, you could just buy it, right? But obviously, there's like a fine line, right? So this microdose essentially is what it would be, I'd imagine, because you don't need people that already have nightmares or like tripping out. Right? Like that's not going to make anything any better.
No.
But microdoses utilizing that serotonin, which is like a natural drip from your spine, goes directly to your brain. It feeds your brain, and then it can relax you like in certain ways and take away stress. Right. So there's, I think, they might be onto something, but at the same time, you're looking at different routes, because you don't have like nut houses anymore like they did in the 70s. They'd put people in psychiatric wards and they'd give them a lobotomy, and then they'd just fry their noodle and they'd be fine, right? Well, they just walk around like zombies the rest of their life. Yeah. So I don't know if this is just a new way to zombify people. Who knows? But
so I was reading about this ibogaine, and apparently this has been big in the veteran community for a couple years.
Oh, really?
And I guess vets go to Mexico to do this.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that ayahuasca, where you go and you have like this experience. It's supposed to help with like drug addiction, like it's
Oh, yeah?
supposed to, like all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know how effective, but that's what I was reading.
I will say that they've been more open to utilizing different courses of action at the VA recently, even prescribing obesity with the GLP-1s.
Oh, really?
There's been success. I've been reading articles about the VA actually prescribing GLP-1 for weight loss recently. So,
And I like
You
these
know.
two drugs because they're natural. You know, they're not made in a laboratory.
right.
You know?
And there's not many that aren't
Yeah.
made in a laboratory.
Yeah.
You know,
So the ibogaine was first documented in the 19th century for its spiritual use. Gosh, darn it. It was later isolated and synthesized for its psychoactive properties, briefly marketed in Europe as a stimulant. So it's been researched for its potential in treating addiction, despite being classified as a Schedule I controlled substance. Its clinical use and development have been limited due to regulatory barriers, and it does have some serious side effects, such as toxicity to the heart.
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it can have lingering side effects such as nausea, mood disturbances. Go figure. Long-term risks can include mania, heart issues, and potentially fatal interactions with other drugs. So this one's going to take a little
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
They've only had two, but they've only done two randomized controlled trials for disorders. And while they show preliminary anti-addictive potential, their safety and efficacy, effectiveness
Yeah.
are unconfirmed.
You're trying so hard today.
I just, it's been a long week. So last year, in 2025, Texas allocated $50 million for clinical research on ibogaine to develop FDA-approved treatments for opioid use disorder occurring in substance abuse disorders. So it does have some positive effects. It sounds like maybe if they could do something about the some of the side effects. You know, I mean, all medicine has side effects, but if you ever read the side effects of, you know, I read something one time where they said if aspirin was developed today, it would never get approved.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah, because of all the side effects.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this was a couple of years ago. Governor Eric Holcomb signed legislation in March 2024 to establish therapeutic psilocybin research fund, allowing Indiana institutions to study the drug's effectiveness in treating mental health conditions. So this is something, you know, that even the most conservative states obviously are looking into. There's got to be positive results in certain effects of these things, right? And it's interesting that they used to classify it as a stimulant because, you know, they used to prescribe cigarettes for diarrhea, for constipation.
Really?
So because it was a stimulant, like they considered it a stimulant in the early 1900s. So if you had constipation, they would let you smoke some cigarettes.
The good old days.
Well, back in the day, too, when women would have their their Aunt Flo would come visit, they would be labeled as hysterical, and then they would give them drugs to calm them down. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But
Wasn't that where opium kind of
yeah,
got
opium.
big?
They would give old women opium.
Yeah, right. That's what I
Well, of course, they also said women couldn't travel on trains because their bodies couldn't handle that speed.
Wow.
Oh God, are you serious?
Yeah,
I
back in
never
the
heard that one.
1800s. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's interesting.
So
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to segue into we want to thank some of these people.
Yeah.
We want to thank Calumet Brewery. Speaking of stuff to help veterans, we want to thank Calumet Breweries, 6535 Osborne Avenue in Hammond. You can reach them at 219-845-2242. Calumet Park and Funeral Chapel, always supporting our veterans. 2305 West 83rd Avenue in Maryville. Call 219-769-8803 for special veteran savings on complete burial packages. Or you can call 219-736-5840 for the chapel. DAV Chapter 17 to meet the first Thursday at 7 p.m. VFW Post 802, 5820 Holman Avenue. DAV Chapter 80 meet the second Friday, Cedar Lake. American Legion Post 261, 13050 Washington Street, Cedar Lake.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been an interesting week around here and around in the veteran community. There's just so much going on.
Oh, yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk about what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah. So, Pakistani government official that the Iranian foreign minister is expected to arrive in Islamabad on Friday evening, tonight, and that U.S.-Iran negotiations are going to occur again, right? The
Now
recent rally in oil prices lost steam because of that development, so oil's been out of control.
Well, because last Friday they had the government said the strait was open, and then the military closed it again 12 hours later. So basically, the military is in charge of what's going on. So are we negotiating with the military, or are we negotiating with the same people? We're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. Well, let's see. The President Donald Trump announced yesterday that Israel and Lebanon agreed to their extended ceasefire. So I think a lot of that, and even the Houthis down in Lebanon joined into this conflict recently. But I would say a lot of it is because the Iranians feel that Israel shooting into Lebanon is a breach of the ceasefire. So they're still out there trying to take pop shots, but it's not being publicized as like a break of the ceasefire, because there have been ships that have been turned around and shot at during
they
the
shot
ceasefire.
at the engine at one of the ships because they wouldn't stop.
They're trying everything they can to just stave off the Americans just enough so that either the public perception changes and we get out, or international community comes in and helps them.
Well, they're running low on money. They can't give money to Hezbollah anymore, and Hezbollah was in southern Lebanon. That was their headquarters.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who have done all these terrorist acts by getting money from Iran, and our country has very rightly so decided that we're never going to negotiate with terrorists. And if we're negotiating with the Iranian military, they are terrorists.
Yeah.
They have killed many of our military, and I don't agree with that. But
yeah, I mean, Trump wrote just yesterday saying that the United States is going to work with Lebanon in order to help it protect itself from Hezbollah, which is an Iranian-backed militia group. So they're infiltrating.
They're not a militia group; they're a terrorist group.
Right. Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously,
So,
and then the Houthis as well.
How are we going to help Lebanon? Like, are we going to send advisors there now?
I don't know.
I don't know. It just, we're starting to get...
Yep.
It trickles
stuff.
everywhere.
Just when you think you're out of the Middle East, they pull you back in.
Yeah. Warmongering. And I tell you what, even... you can tell the tone during even peacetime that... because I was in there during a little bit of the peacetime, and then during a little bit of the action as it started heating up again. During peacetime, it seems like high-level leadership is warmongers. Like, they want it.
Yeah.
Like, they want to, like, bring it in, right?
Right.
Have you ready, and then prepare for this. And it's like, what's going on now? Nothing's going on, but something... it's got to be going on soon, because you see this high level stuff and you're like, why are they so excited?
Yeah.
This is just a normal day. And then there's always something working behind the scenes where they want to, and of course, conspiracy theorists would say this is all just a transition of wealth and power. And ultimately, we've said last week that, 70% of China's oil comes from there.
Yeah.
And it comes from the Strait of Hormuz. And so,
China's hurting too.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. And the pressure builds on a weak Iranian regime that has little more than just taking pop shots at this point. That's more like a gnat on a bear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
And there's I've said this before. How can Iran have a blockade when they don't have any ships? Well, I looked into this a little bit, and there's 5 islands off the coast there. They used to belong to the UAE, but while the UAE was being formed, Iran took those islands from them. So those islands really belong to the UAE. Will they give them back? Probably not. But with those islands, that's where they launch their little speedboats, and they have a lot of shoulder-fired weapons. But that's what they can hit the ships with. And if you have whether it's a cruise ship, whether it's a oil ship, whatever they have, those fired weapons will do some serious damage.
Yeah, the rocket propelled grenades.
Right, that kind of stuff. So that's how they're threatening the ships. Now I just read that some cruise ships went through the strait, and Lloyd's of London said that they felt it was safe enough to insure them. Yeah, so our minesweepers are doing a great job of finding the mines. The problem is the Iranians don't know where they put them all.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they lost them or whatever. I don't know. Somebody wasn't taking notes or something.
Yeah, the president also put out on his Truth Media, or is that what it's called, Truth Media? I don't have it, but
Yeah.
he put out
Truth
that
Social.
Truth Social. Anybody that is caught attempting to or trying to lay mines in the strait will be destroyed immediately.
Yeah.
Like if they're going out there and they're trying to do that stuff, they're risking their lives.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, and you know we're there now, so I don't want to see boots on the ground. I don't want to see another 20-year quagmire that we get
Yeah.
dragged into. You know, we just got out of one, and I think the American people are war tired.
oh yeah,
You know?
just
I think so too.
for sure.
And I know probably a lot of some of your senior staff, your senior enlisted staff, are probably tired of it too. You know, they'll say that they're going to that you know you're going to do what you're told to do regardless, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the military, you know, and I've said this before. The military is a dictatorship protecting a democracy. You know, you do what you're told, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, a very good example. I've never thought of it like
Yeah.
that, but it is.
Somebody tried to tell me the other day that there were over 100 conscientious objectors, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way there's that. There might be one or two, but there's not going to be over hundreds of them.
With this new level of warfare, they have to become more cost efficient, because when Iran is spitting out 80 to 100,000 drones that cost them, $800 a piece, and we, strategically throughout the Middle East, between our HIMARS systems, our Patriot missiles, our other, anti-drone defense systems, we only have like 10,000 Patriot missile rounds overall in the Middle East, and that's public knowledge.
Yeah.
You know how long it took us to get those 10,000 rounds? It was built up over like the last 30 years.
Yeah.
10,000. I mean, it's just not comparable. A sustained long-term war with a regime like this is just, they make cheap stuff. The same thing you dealt with in Iraq, right? They're not fighting with the same expensive equipment that we are.
Yeah.
And when they put a roadside bomb in a dead dog, like that cost them $1 to make.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And they're sending these drones at any given time. We have to advance in technology into a more cost-effective program. And I think we talked about this on the radio a couple of weeks ago, but, the Navy has that laser technology that they've been shooting them down with. And
Right.
then I've seen, basically you put it on the back of like a Hemet, right, a big Hemet truck, and then it's like a microwave. So they shoot these microwaves into the sky, and it can drop fleets of them, right? But there's only a certain range that you can yank
okay.
those
Okay.
things. And then we were also trained on a device, and I forget the name of it, but it's a shoulder fired type thing, and it's like a huge magnet. Okay,
Really?
and you can aim. If you hear a drone, like we're like going through the woods, like in a wedge formation, just like you're in Styx lanes and stuff like that, and you listen for drones. There's always a drone man now, as opposed, you got your saw guy, you got your your front, and now there's a drone guy, and the drone guy carries this shoulder like magnet, and it basically locks onto the drone, and it brings it down. It doesn't fry the electronics in it. It locks onto it, and it brings it down. You can boom, lock onto it and bring it down, right? And it's set and ground it to the ground, and then you can like call your
People
bomb
to-
team,
yeah,
right,
to
to come
destroy
and
it.
right.
Wow.
So, but that's just one drone, and how expensive is that piece of equipment that's on our shoulder? You know what I mean?
Right.
One drone costs $500, maybe a real good rotary wing drone that's capable of carrying explosives, right? And these pieces of technology that we have are probably more expensive than that one drone.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
So my point is that a long-term fight with this type of individual never ends well. Mm-hmm. When they're using the cheap stuff and they're still pop shotting us, and every life, obviously, as an American soldier or an American military is so essential to our morale, our well-being, the way that the American people see this sort of conflict. Like, we don't want to lose our men and women.
Right.
And when we can stack them to the gills with the equipment and the technology of, the 22nd century, right? But it's not going to, it doesn't help the fact that we're losing people.
Right.
And they'll continue to do this. So it's just.
Because they want to push things off and just kind of keep us where we're at and hope that something saves them at the end of the day,
Well, they know that dragging this out is better for them.
Yeah.
Because they're not spending a whole lot of money. They probably don't have a whole lot left.
No,
but they
don't.
can still do it, and they probably still will do it. Just like, the Taliban did it.
And they could get money from China.
Right.
China's our biggest supporter. And I also read an article about how this is affecting Iraq. Iraq cannot get any of their oil out. So they've had to shut down two oil producing plants already because their tanks are full.
Yeah, and
So
what's
they're losing
interesting-
hundreds of millions of dollars a day, and
it's
they want this
interesting
over.
that you say that, because once it's not like you can just turn off an oil pump.
Right.
When you turn it off, you lose that pressurized system, and you could lose that oil pipeline in the ground.
Yeah.
So once you fill up all your oil tankers and you fill up everything, and no one's pulling that oil, you might lose that entire well.
Yeah.
And then you're, like you said, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
I didn't know that.
And Iran will be in the same situation here very shortly.
So you can't just start it and turn it off.
No.
So what is it?
Once
It's
you're pumping, man.
So it's a pressurized system? That's how they get the oil out?
Yeah.
That's what I read this week about. Like, you can't just turn off those wells, because if you turn them off, then you could lose the well.
Wow.
Yeah, because then you got to
didn't know
prime
that.
it. You got to, do all that stuff to get the oil flowing again, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
So it's it's affecting Iraq. It's affecting Iran,
Yeah, Kuwait's up there.
Kuwait,
There's
Qatar. Yeah, all them oil producing.
Yep.
They can't get their oil out.
Right.
Yeah, so they're ready for this to end.
Yeah, pretty much anybody bordering the Red Sea is pumping oil out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to call in and chat with us, the number is 219-845-1100. Give us a call. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Somebody give us a ring. Here.
Smiling when you
Oh,
started
yeah, I
saying
know,
that.
because he was drinking.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to say it.
So I have something that I wanted to bring up. So I told you guys last week I went to the place on 15th Avenue over here in Hammond, 15th and Klein.
Okay, I know what you're talking
And
about.
when I've been there a couple of times, because when I first went, so let me backtrack a little bit. So we've gotten complaints about a business over there having.
We got a caller in.
flags.
Yeah.
They called in and talked about
Twice.
this.
Yeah. So I went over there, and the first time I went, I saw this one building that had one flag, and I was like, well, that don't look bad. It looks pretty good. You know, the flag. So then when they complained again, I went back, and I found it. It's right in front of the fireworks stand.
Yes.
Okay. If you look at these poles,
They're just poles with a little piece of flag on them.
little
They're
strips.
terrible.
Literally, like one of them, the flag is like 2 inches.
Yeah.
Like that's how much is left.
It's ridiculous.
So I got a hold of the owner, and he
Awesome.
said that he changes the flags every May 1st.
We need to change them more, because flags usually only last like 3 months, 6 months if you're lucky.
Yeah. I doubt that he changed those last year.
Yeah, I doubt he did.
But he said he's going to spend $500 on May 1st to put new flags. So we will see.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't have to, pick it in front of his place.
Right? I would in a second.
Yeah.
In a second. Because, you got a business here that claims to be so patriotic, but their flags look like they're worse than a war
They're
flag,
That's how bad they were.
Yeah.
I didn't even see them when I went there originally.
They're just poles with a little piece of fabric wrapped around them. I mean, they're terrible.
Yeah, so...
Because I was going to give them a flag. I thought it was just one, like you. And I said, I'll just buy one and give it to them.
Yeah.
You know, but they no, they got a lot of flags out there.
Yeah. Like 20 of them. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of war fatigue, might be interesting to bring up that everybody knows the name Zelensky, right? The Ukrainian president.
Yep.
He just made a statement,
Oh,
but
boy.
there's no verification from U.S. news or U.S.
Mm-hmm.
troops or any official. U.S. weapon deliveries in Ukraine have not stopped. They're still getting weapons from the U.S. Despite the Iranian war. Ukrainian long-range strikes continue to hammer Russian oil production. I'll bring it into the oil here. This is, at least we're back to $3.50 a gallon, but it's just war fatigue. You can't say any other thing than that. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
there's so much talk about the Strait of Hormuz right now that no one has even mentioned Ukraine.
Right.
It seems like in 6 months,
Yeah.
and this dude comes out and says, "Hey, guess what? We're still here, and guess what? We're still getting weapons from the U.S."
Yeah.
So I thought we weren't anymore. How does that work?
I don't
Well,
know.
we gave them what? We've given them billions of dollars. And I just read an article by a soldier that was over there. I don't know if it was one of our soldiers. I don't remember. But he was talking about how much of that money was stolen
Oh yeah,
that
I
we
heard
sent
about
them.
that.
And they were using it to buy $100,000 automobiles and to fatten their pockets. And
Well, Zelensky had 2 or 3 people in his administration that had to resign
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
So that is actually
well,
true.
you can't tell me he's not doing it too. He's the boss.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah.
Well,
course
they
it
might
is.
not be just giving it to them; they could be selling it to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we got a bunch of the mineral rights in Ukraine.
Yeah,
for
that was-
long term.
That was one of the deals.
yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that pans out maybe
Yeah.
in the next 100 years.
Yeah. Well, I read an article about what they call rare earth minerals.
Uh-huh.
It's not because they're rare; it's because it's so hard to get them out of the ground
But
that you have
yeah,
to
a lot
dig.
of work.
You may have to dig for I don't know, quarter mile to get a little bit. So it's very hard to get that stuff out of the ground, and China controls a lot of that.
We got a caller.
Oh, okay.
All right, hey caller, you're on Veterans Views radio show.
Yeah, good morning. Next week, could you touch on property tax exemptions for veterans?
Oh, that's
100%.
coming on July 1st. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to go to your local VSO. We got Jason at the
Jason
county
Goatee.
house.
Well, actually, the form's online.
Yeah, but they'll want you at the clerk's office. You can print the form.
Yeah.
But at the clerk's office at the county, they'll want you to get your VSO signature before you go to the clerk's office
Really?
upstairs.
I
Yeah.
thought your DD 214 or your VA letter would be enough.
No.
You have to go to the clerk's office
For
on
some
July
reason,
1st.
yeah, everybody has to
They
go.
put out that information.
Really?
Yeah. So you got to go to your county and you have to
Okay.
redo it on July 1st. So the first step, go to your county and talk to your veteran service officer. Then you'll be able to go to upstairs to in Lake County. You'll be able to go upstairs to the clerk's office with that signed document from your VSO.
So it has to be the county VSO, or can I have Steve sign it?
No, county.
It's got to be the
It's
county.
got to be the county.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to be very busy. He's going to be very busy.
Yeah.
But he's got a team. He's got like 4 or 5 people down there.
Oh,
And
okay.
his office is downstairs. So in case you need to know.
Right.
He's in the basement.
Yeah. What if you already applied for the tax exemption?
It doesn't matter.
You have to
You
do
got
it
to
again?
You have to do it again.
Yeah, you
Yep.
have to do it again.
Yeah, you'll have to redo it. And because I've applied for next year with the 10% to 90%,
Yeah.
which is a deduction and not a credit. But I'll have to go and change it because now it's changing to a credit, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
it used to be, it was like $23,900 between deduction, $23,900 deduction on your house if it's worth less than $240,000.
Right.
Now it's like a $350 credit if you're between 10 and 90%. So you get that $350 credit, and then if you're over the age of 62,
Yeah.
then you get an additional amount of
Right.
credit.
And
So
if you're
up to-
100%, then you get
yes, if
all
you're,
the credit.
If you're 100%, then it's tax exempt
Yeah.
on your property taxes. But everybody's got to go and redo their stuff.
What do you mean? Tax exempt for 100%?
if you're 100% disabled, or if you're
Yes.
permanent, what's it called? Permanent.
PMT?
Unemployability,
Yeah.
permanent total.
So you could be technically, and hear me out here. Technically, you could be like, let's say you're 70% disabled, but you're permanent and
Total.
PNT, and that would get you to the 100% payment.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's unemployability. Sorry.
Oh, unemployment.
yeah.
Unemployability,
Okay.
but still PNT or unemployability, both of them categorized, and they both qualify. Okay, so you could be 70% disabled, PNT, or unemployable, and getting the 100% pay.
Mm-hmm.
You can still then get your 100% property tax exemption, meaning you won't have to pay property taxes anymore on
Right.
your property. Now,
That's awesome.
that qualifies you as 100% disabled, or whatever percent you are, PNT or
Unemployable.
unemployable.
Right.
So all three categories, zero property taxes. The biggest difference for those who are between 10% and 90% is that it goes from a deduction, and there is no longer a cap on the value of your home. Right, the cap was $240,000. Now you get your credit no matter how much your home is worth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, that's
Okay, but you have to reapply by
On
June 1st.
after July 1st.
after July. You can reapply anytime after July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Nick, the draft. Could you mention that draft again for the new people coming out?
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
well, the
Yep.
they're thinking about, maybe starting a draft. I don't know. I hope not.
What?
Yeah, but they're
Didn't Pat talk about this a couple weeks ago?
yeah, they want to in December. Now I was confused about this a little bit. I got to look more into it. About by the end of the year, all the men have to register for the draft, 18 and older. Well, my thing is, and I know I'm going to make a lot of women mad, but if
18 to 25.
18 to 25,
Yeah.
okay. So if we're doing it for men, then women should have to as well,
Yeah.
because women are in combat roles now. So,
I mean, equal.
women should have to as well. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be, if they do start a draft, which again I hope they don't.
I didn't think.
Yeah,
that
I
was
said
serious.
the rule does not
Wow.
actively change the current draft. Okay, it doesn't
Okay.
guarantee one will occur. There's not been an active draft since 1973.
Right.
What's changing, instead of men having to register themselves within 30 days of their 18th birthday, they will automatically enroll them using existing federal records, such as your Social Security Administration or DMV data. So that essentially, it's like when you go to the DMV and they're like, "Do you want to register to vote?" Yada yada, right?
Yeah.
You're essentially now going to be automated to register for the Military Draft Selective Service, eligible men aged 18 to 25. Change is a part of the fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act, and shifts the burden of registration from the individual to now the Selective Service system.
I didn't even know we still had that. But if you're going to take the men, you got to take the women. So
Yeah,
we
I
want equal
can't
rights.
disagree with that. Right? Hey,
And I was reading some comments from some veterans, and from some combat veterans as well, and they were a little ticked off, because if they started a draft, they were talking about how they don't want to serve with people who don't want to be there.
Oh yeah,
And that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why we have the best military in the world, because we've all volunteered.
yeah.
Well,
they get weeded out. The people that volunteered and then regret.
Yeah.
If you don't continue mission through training, they put your butt into
You're
holding,
gone.
and you're terrible. It's worse. You might as well finish it.
Yeah.
And then resign when you're done,
Yeah.
because those people that quit during basic training,
We
they're going to go through hell.
when I was in basic training, we had a girl who was pretending to be mentally ill and had all these issues. Well, so this was in like first phase, which is your first few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And when I graduated, she was still there.
Oh yeah, and she was probably still there 3 months after.
Yeah, because you got
Holdover company.
mowing the lawn and stuff too.
because
She was-
you got to be fixed before they can let you go.
Yeah, right.
So,
Ooh, I remember that.
Yep.
I'd seen that too when I was at Fort Leonard
Yeah,
Wood.
yeah. You got all kinds of people who, it used to be you could kiss your CO and you would get kicked out.
Yeah.
You can't even do that anymore. I mean, you can kiss your CO, but you don't get
We
in
used
trouble.
to call them. We used to call them the gym shoe platoon.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah. When I got
Yeah.
in, it was still you weren't allowed to be gay.
No,
So,
me either.
And so
Oh, yeah,
if you
don't ask,
were,
don't
like,
tell.
you had to hide it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The new rules do not change who is required to register. Only men are currently required to register
Yeah,
for
that ain't
this.
right.
Women are not included in the automatic registration. Though it has been debated, which we are talking about right now here on Veterans Views, WJOB in beautiful Hammond, Indiana.
12:30 a.m.
It's like I remember one time I was on the show quite a while when I was on the show quite a while ago, and we were talking about it was when women in combat first came up, and I don't remember if it was you, Steve, or if it was Pat that asked me my position on that, and I surprised everybody because I said, here's the thing, if you want women in combat, you cannot lower the standards.
Yeah.
If it requires you to carry a 50-pound ruck and be able to do a 50-mile march, then that's what then that's what the requirements are. And if you can do that, fine.
Yeah.
If you can meet the same requirements that the men have, fine. But the minute you lower standards, people are going to die.
Yeah.
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 And you're going to lose that. And I wouldn't want to be that woman who had my standards lowered because then you're not going to have an easy time.
No, no matter
know?
what, it's gonna be. I tell you, there are definitely some women that can kick my
Oh,
butt up
heck
and down
yeah.
the street. But one thing that is always going to differentiate just the anatomy of a man and a woman is, just take Vietnam for example. You got those dudes out there literally waste water and swamp
Living in the jungle.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like a month.
Yeah.
Do you think? I'm not putting this out, but do you think a woman could survive in a swamp for a month?
And then,
Like,
my thing is what about when Aunt Flo comes?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
the
I don't-
infection, just the anatomy.
But a lot of
of
times when
human being,
when
right?
you're under stress, your Aunt Flo doesn't come to visit.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in boot camp, Aunt Flo did not visit me when I was there, which was
Oh,
wonderful.
I didn't know they worked like that.
Yeah,
It's what they put in the Gatorade.
yeah, like
they-
saltpeter
That's
in
why
the
they
meat.
make you drink it. Yeah. I'll
know,
tell
you-
you,
you
some
bring-
story is not appropriate for the radio. That I did not experience any sort of stimulant whatsoever for like 6 months. Never one time did I ever think about anything other than work. And I'm like, it's got to be the Gatorade because I'm only 22. You know, I don't know. They make you drink it.
Yeah,
You have to drink a Gatorade every day, like.
That's funny.
But it's not out of the Gatorade bottle. Of course, it's out
That's
of the
like when
fountain.
they used to
you know?
say that MREs had that stuff to make you constipated. so
Oh
you didn't
yeah, and the
poop.
crackers. Yeah.
You brought up a good point, though. The reason they have the standards is because that's what you need to operate
Right.
in that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you lower that, then that person's going to have a hard time
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
actual world.
Well, they're really, I think, specifying the requirements for combat positions in the Army, and they're even coming out with a new combat fitness test.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's specific.
But only
for,
certain MOSs do
yes,
it, right? Okay.
only arms or
Yeah.
combat
But
related.
see, in the Marine Corps, we all do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now we do have an Army combat fitness test now.
Okay.
And it's for everybody.
Okay.
But this new one is going to be even more extreme, and it's going to be like carrying people and
Yeah.
dead man's carries and carrying ammo, munitions. Like, it's going to be real
It's
world.
going to be a lot of more upper body strength.
Yeah.
A lot of more leg work.
Yep.
Is from what I read,
100%.
yeah.
And it looks kind of cool, but I'm glad I don't have to do it.
If I was 19 or 20,
Yeah, oh, I'd get after
I
it,
probably
yeah.
could, but not anymore. No.
But you got to keep transitioning, and you have to, again, meet the standard. If you want to
Absolutely.
be, if you want to be a Ranger, if you want to be a Green Beret, if you want to be a Marine, like if you want to be a Navy SEAL, you have to meet those standards.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman.
Right.
If you don't meet the standard, nobody's going to bend to your opinion.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be in life.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me.
It would be nice if that was if it was that way at work sometimes because, you know as well as I do, we all do, that people who sometimes get promoted don't, whether you're in the military or the civilian side, get promoted who don't deserve it.
Oh yeah,
You know.
there's nothing worse to grit your teeth than some schmuckatelli gets ahead of you and
Yeah.
they get promoted and oh gosh,
And now you
I've
got to
seen it
listen
so
to
many
them.
times.
Yeah.
So
and
many
they're
times.
just useless, I had a captain like that, he was terrible.
I was an E4 corporal. I had an E5 sergeant in my squad because
Really?
they would not let him lead me. I was the leader.
Wow.
And it's like,
Awesome.
if he addressed me, I had to stand at parade rest.
Right.
E4
Okay.
Mafia.
But I was the squad leader,
Wow.
and he was not. He was in my squad.
You weren't even a deal. You were a squad leader.
Yes.
That's a E6 position.
Yeah, well, I was a squad leader as a corporal.
That's
and the
awesome.
E5 was in my squad. There was
Wow.
only an E7, so the E7 was making the calls. I mean, it was all kind of messed up in that platoon. Eventually, I promoted to platoon sergeant, but it took me a few years. So,
Wow. That's crazy.
but yeah, that E5 was long gone now.
Oh,
yeah.
So, since
Yeah.
we're talking about international stuff, not really, I want to thank these people for supporting the show. We want to thank the Laborers International Union of North America 41, 500 Superior Street, Munster, 219-924-7922. Military Order of the Purple Heart, 721 to meet second Thursday, 7 p.m. VFW Post 802, 5820 Holman Avenue. Family Dental Care. Veterans receive free exams, x-rays, cleanings, and 10% discount on all their services. 8 convenient Chicagoland locations. Call 219-804-9329 to schedule your appointment today.
All right.
Nice.
I
nice. Yeah.
want to pass something on about Rick C.
Man,
You know-
that makes me sad.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that he
Yeah.
passed.
And his last name is pronounced Chmielik. Meaning.
That's what I was trying to look up. What's
Yeah.
his last name?
It's a little difficult to pronounce, especially for me. So,
Oh, yeah, that is a tough one.
Ricky C. passed away unexpectedly on April 20th of this year at his home in Hammond. He was born August 24th, 1959 in Hammond. Rick lived a life marked by dedication, service, and a deep commitment to his community and family. He graduated from Morton High School in 1977. He went on to serve his country honorably as an Air Force veteran during the Cold War. His sense of duty extended into his civilian career, where he was involved with the Lake County Sheriff Work Release Program. His leadership and devotion were further exemplified through his role as chaplain and past commander of American Legion Post 232, positions he held with immense pride. Ricky C. was a man of varied interest who found joy in woodworking, building train sets, after my own heart, and watching sports. His enthusiasm for athletics was reflected in his unwavering support for his favorite teams, Notre Dame, the Chicago Cubs, the Blackhawks, and the Boston Red Sox. There's an interesting... These passions enriched his life and offered moments of connection with family and friends. I'm not going to read all of his relatives. A mass celebrating Rick's life will take place today at 10 a.m. at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Catholic Church at 7140 Arizona Avenue in Hammond. The burial will follow at Holy Cross Cemetery in Calumet City. Throughout his life, Ricky C. had a steadfast commitment to service, family, and community shone brightly. His legacy as a veteran, a leader, craftsman, and devoted sports enthusiast touched all who knew him. He would be remembered with great respect, admiration, and love. And the family kindly requests that memorials be made to the disabled American veterans as a tribute to Ricky's enduring spirit and devotion to his fellow servicemen and women. So I think that's
Yeah.
what,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading that.
Oh, you're welcome.
good stuff.
Because he was such a good guy.
He was.
He was so positive. I remember one show, I was going off on something. I was so mad. And he called me to tell me to calm down. Or he called the show
Yeah.
to tell me to calm down.
Okay. Well, that sounds like something he would do. You know,
Yeah.
He always had good things to say about his Legion. You know, he was always passing on what's going on over there. And he's gonna be missed, and he's gonna be hard to replace. For somebody to take that role. So Ricky C, we're praying for you, and we're praying for your family, and we offer our condolences to your family and your loved ones. and to your post. So
Yeah, thanks for all your service contributions, Ricky C.
yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So
the Army has officially introduced a new MV-75 next generation assault aircraft.
really,
Okay, so it is an advancement. We got a few more minutes. It is an advancement from the Osprey. So it has that tilt rotor configuration. It can go.
is it going to be more dependable than the Osprey?
I hope so. Jeez, but they've been amping up for this Indo-Pacific type war, right? In literally for the last 10 years, and it just seems like we can't ever get out of the Middle East. But I don't know what the next war is over there. That's what they were.
They're trying so hard
they
to
had
get
to bring all of the stuff that they were putting in the Indo-Pacific recently and bring it over to the Middle East because they were amping up over there and said, "Oh, wait, shift gears." Anyways, this thing gets twice as far, twice as fast. The Black Hawk it's trying to replace the Black Hawk, which goes 180. This thing goes like 300.
Oh my God!
And it goes twice as far. So the Indo-Pacific with the different islands, it can hop, as opposed to the Black Hawk's capability wasn't able to kind of hop between islands as effectively without refueling on like a carrier or something like that, right? So, hey, we like our new toys. I say, this the MV-22 Osprey it seems like to be a failure. I don't know. There's so many of them always
many accidents with
messing up with them.
That rotor that tilts, it just has not worked for them. I don't know why they keep trying to push that type of aircraft.
It's just because it goes so much faster.
I mean,
Because somebody's
they're trying
cousin's
to
uncle owns the company that makes them.
That's probably true. But they're trying to replace the Black Hawk. They're trying to replace the A10 Warthog. They're trying to replace the
A10,
Hummer.
really?
They're
They
trying
just
to
they just
replace-
extended the Warthog for another 10 years.
Good. Those Warthogs are
good.
bad.
They don't want to get rid. They love them.
Yeah.
I love
They're
them.
great.
They're
I
cool,
love
man. Yeah, because they're like those things aren't really. They're not. They're on such an old program.
Yeah.
That they're not detected by some even of the newest technology.
And it's not. They're not made for speed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They're.
Oh, but they could take a beating.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, because they're like tanks in the sky.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we only got a couple minutes left. Steve, your last thoughts?
Yeah. So we also want to thank Ron J. Pressmer Insurance Company for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life. 219-844-0103. Kuziak Construction, 1235 Summer Street, Hammond. 219-923-3007. Heroes Helping Heroes, Northwest Indiana. Contact Rich Tow Cars. www.heroeshelpingheroesin.com. 219-670-2501. And White Oak Home Care, 9800 Connecticut Drive, Clown Point. You can reach them at 219-999-5869.
All right.
Thank you very much.
100,000 veterans have enrolled in VA healthcare in 2026 to this point.
Wow.
Are you missing out? Wow. Go there or be square. Tell ya, the service is commendable in Crown Point.
Yeah, it is.
And it's worth it. So there's a lot of benefits out there for you. Citizen soldiers out there, if you know anybody that is in need, of course, we're here. Give us a call. We can help you find the right resources. 219-845-1100. We are here every week at 0900 Veterans Views Radio Show, state award-winning show. Been on for 17 on the radio and over 20 now. We're trying to track our history back to. So we love you. We appreciate you listening. We want you to tune in every single week. It's an honor for all of us to be here. We're all veterans or current
Absolutely.
service members, and we have just a great pride in this show, and we thank our contributors. So I will say, and I'll let Donna get us out of here, but I will say that I just want to thank everybody here and everybody out there for allowing me to do this every week. It's a true honor. Thank you.
All right, that's wonderful. I just want to mention again the North Township Veterans Roundtable. Their 4th annual golf outing is June 13th of this year at Wicker Park, of course. Registration begins at 11. Shotgun starts at noon. It's $80 per golfer or $320 for a foursome. You can call 219-313-3934 for more information or to register yourself or your foursome. So you're a golfer, aren't you, Roger?
I try.
I can throw it better than I can hit it.
I don't know about a foursome, though.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate your support. And to all our sponsors, thank you very much. We couldn't do this show without you. So thank you.
Hoorah.
Hoorah! Good night, Chesty, wherever you are.